Good evening, one and all. In today's session, we are going to deal with two aspects. First is I'm going to clear some of your doubts regarding your coding challenge and some other doubt as well. And in the second half, we are going to see the built-in string functions that we can use directly in C language to perform the different tasks. So to begin with, I have one of your doubts which I would like to clear. So as you can, just a minute. So as you can see here in this program, the first statement is declaration int m, then you have comma, then you have to initialize I equal to 0, then j equal to 1 and k equal to 2. Next line is you are updating the value of m by writing m is equal to I plus plus logical or j plus plus logical or k plus plus. So they are asking you what will be the final value of m, I, j and k. So as we know that since this is a combination of operators, m is equal to an expression, right? M is equal to some expression, and that expression is a combination of operands and operators, where I, j, k are your data or your operands, and the operators are post increment and logical or. So we need to find the final value of m, I, j, k. Now, since this is a combination of operators, you have to apply your precedence and associativity. So since the post increment or the postfix operator, the post operation has higher precedence than the logical or any logical operator, first the post increment will be performed and then the logical or operation. Now even in post increment you have 3 times post increment. So they have same precedence, the post increment. So you have to apply your associativity rules. That is, for post increment, the associativity is from left to right. So when you read the expression from left to right, first you're getting I plus plus. So you have to execute I plus plus. So in your expression, you have to use the original value of I. Okay, in your expression, you have to use the original value of I. So let me just a minute. So first m is equal to I plus plus. Now in place of I plus plus, you have to use original value of I, that is 0. Then comes logical or. Now, as you're reading left to right, you're getting the second j, I plus plus. That is actually here it is j plus plus. So you're getting the next post increment, which is for j. So since post increment, first use the current value of j, that is 1. And then, okay, here I, after you use it in the expression, I becomes 1. And after you use the current value of j in the expression, j becomes 2. Okay, j was initially 1, you incremented, it became 2. I was initially 0, you incremented, it became 1. Now, in logical OR operation, we know that as soon as we see 1 in the expression, the complete value of the expression becomes 1, because either left or either A is true or B is true or both. Then only the final output is true for logical operator. So since we get a 1 over here, this whole thing reduces to what? 1. So you get 1. And since you have got your 1, you will not check for the further logical OR operator. Means this is one logical OR k plus plus. This k plus plus will not get executed. Why? Because this is also logical OR, but you have already got this one over here. So as soon as you get one, the further OR operation you will not perform. Suppose here you had logical AND operation, then what would have happened? This AND requires both the operands to be true. So if you get one here, still you have to check the next one. But since this is logical OR, so as soon as you get one, don't check the remaining. So this k plus plus will not get executed. So m is equal to 1, I is equal to 1, and j is equal to 2. And since k plus plus has not happened, the final value of k will remain the original, that is 2. So m is equal to 1, then I is equal to 1, j is equal to 2, and k is equal to 2. So these are your final values which will get printed by the printf statement. So the correct option is you're printing what? MIJK. That is 1122. So option B, 1122. Has everyone understood this example?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now, actually, one student had asked me a doubt, but he has not yet joined this live session. Anyways, I'll clear the doubt for others, and that student can watch the recording. So in the coding challenge, the student who has asked me the doubt has written this much of the challenge. First, she has declared this. This is a user-defined function. Okay, this is function declaration. And after declaration, semicolon is necessary. Then you have global variable. This global variable is outside your main, so it is global. Then you have void main. See, in a void main, you cannot declare and then you can use like that. You cannot do. You have to define void main. Only that is allowed. You cannot first declare it and then define it afterwards. So void main semicolon is not a valid declaration. Okay, main function has to be only defined directly. So you have to remove the semicolon. Now, inside your main function, you have to perform certain operations. So you have to first define your main function. Now, if you want to define your main function, this int x, okay, it will not come here. It should not come here. Then, if you want, you can put it in your list function, which you have defined over here. Okay, put int x over here inside your user defined function. This statement also, printf enter your name, enter your pin. This also should not be written here. You can write it over here. So in your main function, you have to define it. Okay, before we define main function, you have the user defined function list. So in this, I have written int x, then enter your pin. Now you're typing enter your pin. So user has to enter his pin. But where you'll store that entered pin, you have to store it in some variable. And since you're telling the user enter the pin, whatever the user enters, for that you have to use scanf, right? So you have to use scanf %d, comma, x. Now the problem is your global, you have not stored your original pin. Means what the requirement is, first you have to store the pin. Okay, that is the valid pin, original pin, and then you have to ask the user enter your pin. If the original pin and the pin that the user has entered, if both of them are equal, that means he is the valid user. He can perform the further transaction if he wants. Okay, so what you have to do, first you have to store the original pin. So suppose you store the original pin, I call it as original pin variable, and I initialize it. Okay, and then you are asking the user enter your pin. Now he'll enter the pin. In where it will get stored? Okay, this is just a message. You have to not use any variable. What is the message? Enter your pin. And then you can write x. So what will happen? First, you have to declare this x, and then you will initialize it using scanf. How you will initialize using scanf? The user will type through the keyboard. Whatever he types, that will get stored in the variable x. So we have the original pin and we have the user entered pin. Now we have to ask that, do you want to perform an operation or transaction? So this statement, let it go over here. Now if the user says yes, do you want to perform a transaction? If he says yes, that is he types y. Okay, if he types y, or if he you can type a menu also, like, do you want to perform or do you want to exit? Or if you want to do this way, you can use one char variable here, like opinion. Okay, you can name it anything and just declare it. Then you'll ask him, do you want to perform a transaction? He will enter his opinion. How will enter? Using scanf. You have to use %c because you're accepting y. That is, the letter y means yes, letter no means no. So do you want to perform a transaction? What options you user can enter? Y or n. Okay, let this, you can specify what the user should enter. Expected value is capital Y, small y, or capital N, small n. Okay, so you will enter the character and you will save it in opinion. Now here one statement is has gone below. That is, the statement should be if opinion is equal to, okay, not single equal to, double equal to. You're checking whether left hand side is equal to right hand side. So double equal to. If it is equal to capital Y, logical or opinion is equal to small y, means capital Y and small y have different ASCII values, so they're different characters. So user may enter either capital Y or small y. So if either of this is satisfied, then you have to ask the user, enter your pin. Means he wants to perform a transaction, so first you have to verify him whether he's a valid candidate or not. So first what you'll do, you'll ask him, do you want to perform a transaction? If he says yes, opinion is equal to y, then you have to ask him, please enter your pin. So this statement will go from here and I'll enter it here. So Sapna Kodale, actually I'm explaining your doubt. So I have started off already because I had less time. So the initial part which you have missed, I will send each one of you the recording. So initial part you see there, and from now I'll just explain quickly. You can understand from where I'm explaining. So what I've done till now, I've written int x and I've used one original pin variable. So what will happen? First, you have to store in your program the original pin. The original pin, suppose it is 1234. Okay. Now you have to tell the user, do you want to perform a transaction? Okay, you have to ask him. First step is what? Store the original pin in your program, initialize it. Okay, in which variable? Suppose original pin. Then you have to write, do you want to perform a transaction? So either he'll say yes or he'll say no. So that opinion of his, where you'll take it in opinion variable. Okay, you will take it in opinion variable. So this is just a message. Do you want to perform a transaction? This is a question that you're asking the user. Then his reply will be stored in what? Opinion variable through scanf. Okay, his reply will be stored in opinion variable through scanf. Either capital Y is his opinion or small y. Capital Y and small y have different ASCII values, so both options you must write. Either capital Y or small y. If he says these two, any one, then you must ask him, please enter your pin. Okay, and how will enter your pin? Using the keyboard. He'll enter, suppose, some pin. Then you have to store it in a variable x, another variable. Okay, your original pin variable is your original pin, and x is the pin which the user enters. Okay, both are different variables, and you have to compare these two variables. If original pin is equal to user entered pin, only then he is a valid user. Otherwise, he is not a valid user. You have to end the services. So since x is your user entered pin, now what you'll do, in your inner if, you have to compare original pin double equal to, okay, you have to compare double equal to, because you want to compare left hand side with right hand side. Which is your left hand side? Original pin. Right hand side x. If original pin is equal to x, if original pin and user entered pin is same, then you have to display this menu. What is the menu? Deposit or withdrawal, okay, then balance checking, or fourth option, you can keep this as 4, that is exit from the program. Now he will enter his choice, whether 1 for deposit, 2 for withdrawal, or 3 for balance, or 4 for exiting. So this choice will be stored in ch variable, okay. Now this ch variable you have returned. That means this whole thing I have put in your user defined function list. Okay. So in the beginning, what I've done, I have declared my list. Then I've used the global variable balance. Okay, this is the minimum balance, suppose. Then void main is a function which you cannot declare in the beginning. You must just define it directly. So void main I have to define. Now there is one user defined function list which I have shown you up till now. Now if you are returning ch from here, then you have to use that and pass it to some other function. So you have done some function checking over here. Okay, that I've done it over here, if original pin is equal to or not. So in the else part, if original pin is not equal to user entered pin, what will happen? As you have written printf incorrect pin. So that I will write here in the else part. So this much is not required. So till now what we have done, we have a user defined function list. We have asked him whether he wants to perform a transaction. We have checked the pin validity. If it is correct, we have displayed the menu, and the choice that he enters, we have returned it. If it is not matching, then incorrect pin. Now these are your user defined functions for depositing and withdrawal. Okay, you have written this much. Now here, if the pin is matching, then you're returning, then you're what you're doing, you're displaying the menu, and then whatever choice he enters, you're returning. But where you're returning, you're returning it to the program which calls this list function. So in your main, you have to call this function, because why in main, execution will always start from main function. So in your main, you have to call your list function, user defined function. Okay, when this function is called, all these statements get executed. And suppose original pin is equal to x, then you have to return the choice of the menu. Suppose he enters choice 1, then return 1 will happen. Okay. If he enters choice 2, then it will get stored in ch variable, and you're returning ch means 2 will get returned. So where it will get returned? Over here. So whatever is returned, you can store it in a variable, suppose choice, and initialize it to this function call. So whatever is returned by this function will appear over here, and that will get initialized to choice. Suppose 1 is returned, then the value of the function call, I repeat, if 1 is returned by the function, value of function call is 1. So here 1 will come, and choice will be equal to 1. Suppose he entered 2, then ch is equal to 2, return ch, then 2 is equal to choice. Okay, whatever the function returns, that is the value of the function call. Okay, in simple language, I'm saying the value of function call, I'm saying that is whatever you return from the function. So what is returning from the function? Okay, that you must write like this. Now, whatever choice he enters, depending on that, you have to either perform deposit function call or withdrawal function call. You have defined it, you have to now just call it. So suppose here you can use switch case, or you can use your if else combination. So I'm using switch case because I have not used it till now. Switch ch case 1. I hope you know this case how we give. Whatever is the possible value of choice, okay? Whatever is the possible value of choice, that is the case. Suppose choice is 1, then you can have case 1. Similarly, what is the other possible value of choice? 2 for withdrawal. What is the other possible value? Balance checking, that is choice 3. Why I'm saying 1, 2, 3? Because 1 is deposit. Suppose ch is equal to 1, then I return 1, where it will come at choice. So choice is equal to 1. Since choice is equal to 1, this case 1 will get executed. Similarly, if withdrawal, then 2 gets passed, so choice becomes 2, then case 2 will get executed. Similarly, case 4 for exit. Okay, let me write case 4 also. and case 5 is your default case. Okay, write default. And what will be the possible here? If 1 is not returned, 2 is not returned, 3 is not returned, 4 is not returned, then it is a choice which is not available in the menu. User has entered wrong choice. Only 1, 2, 3, 4 choices are available. Suppose he enters 5, then return 5 will happen. Then choice will be equal to 5. And choice 5, there is no execution for that. So default cases, you can write wrong choice. Okay. I'm just giving you the overview of this program, like how it should execute. This is not the only way you should execute. You can have your own logic also. So in case 1, you have to call which function? Deposit function. So here I'll write deposit function call. Case 2, withdrawal function call. And as soon as if case is 1, then deposit function will be called and all this thing will get executed. And then withdrawal also, all this thing will get executed. So I hope you have understood the basic of how you have to implement this program. Is it, Sapna?
Yes.
Are you there? She joined but left again. I admitted her, right? I did not deny it. Did you all see? I have admitted her, right?
Yes, she was there.
Okay, okay. Yeah, she's there again. Sapna, were you there? Have you heard whatever I've explained?
Yes.
Okay. If you have you understood?
Uh, just I've understood little bit.
Okay.
Can you send me a recorded lecture of this?
Yes, yes, I will send you. No problem. Okay.
The
So
network issue is.
okay, okay, no problem. So now we can go to the next part, that is C inbuilt functions. Now we have seen. Okay, before that, in 5 minutes, I'll quickly revise strings, whatever we have seen till now. We have seen that we can implement strings in two ways. One is using arrays and one is using the rules for strings. Using arrays, how you'll do? You can name it as char. Char is the data type because string is a collection of characters. Optional to specify size if you are initializing directly, and you can write character by character. Okay, if in arrays you are doing it, then character by character is the only alternative. Okay, this is one way. If you're using the string syntax, then char str, then you can either do it character by character as I've shown you here. Okay, but the only change is you must, what you have to do at the end. Does anyone remember? One more character.
Slash backslash zero.
Slash
Yes,
n.
yes, very good. Backslash 0. Slash n is for new line. This is backslash 0. Okay, so uh, this is called null character. So size of your string is always +1. So if you write here 3, it will give you garbage value. Why? Because only FDS will be considered. So always you must write 4 if you are writing the size. Okay, 4 means it will accommodate null character as well. But while you're printing, only FDS will get printed. Null character will not get printed. So here, since you're initializing and declaring on the same line, not specifying the size is okay. Now, we have seen that we can use the printf statement directly to print our string %s using %s and string variable name. Okay, don't give any square bracket, nothing, only the name of the variable. Now this is when you're using as per strings. If you're using arrays, then you cannot use this way of printing. You have to use for loop to print each character one by one. Then we have also seen with scanf. Okay, with scanf, how you'll do it? You'll use the %s and ampersand string name. Okay, and this way you can enter a string. You can type it how at the output you'll type. I'll just show you. Suppose this is your output section. Okay, I'm not running the program currently. Output section, you can enter a string like FDS and then click enter. So this FDS, as a sentence you have entered, it will become the value of your string. Now suppose at the output you enter the lecture. Okay, so here there are two words, in between there is a space. So if you directly use your scanf and printf to accept and print respectively, since you're getting a space in between, it will read only the word the. Whatever is after the space and including the space will not get inputted. Means you can't accept space lecture, you cannot accept this part, you can only accept the first word. That is, whatever comes before the first space, only that much will get accepted. So to resolve this, there are certain C functions, built-in functions that we are going to see today. So the C functions that we are going to use are get and put. These are your string functions to input and, that is, accept and display. So all this we have seen before, pointers and all with characters. Now the C gets and puts function. Gets function will be used to accept. That means gets is the replacement for what? Scanf function. And puts is the replacement for what? Printf function. So the syntax for this is, suppose you want to accept the string from user, then what you'll do, you'll just declare your string and its size. Since you're declaring, specifying the size in square bracket is compulsory. Then you will say enter the string. Then using gets function, you have to accept. So gets round bracket or parenthesis, and within that string variable name. Okay, and then you have accepted your string, whatever you have entered through keyboard, and then you are displaying using printf. So now let us test this part. I'll copy this and we will run it. This is your first function that you're learning under built-in functions, gets function. And if you're using gets and puts, just let me run this once. Okay, so enter the string. This is by the printf statement. Now I have to enter the string. Suppose I enter a single word and then I click enter. Then what it is saying, you entered string. So for our benefit, let me give \n over here. Okay, so let me run it once again. It is telling me enter the string. So I've entered a single word. Next line, it is telling me you entered the. Oh, I need to give \. Before. Okay, it is giving me now you entered whatever word I've entered or whatever string. Now, single word is acceptable. If I use a sentence, the lecture, okay, I have entered the lecture. It is getting stored completely. But instead of gets, if I had used scanf, let me see. So gets is used to accept multi-word strings, multi-word or sentences. I have to use %s and ampersand s. Okay, you can name your string str also, no problem. So now when I execute, I'm entering a sentence. So as you can see, whatever is getting stored is only the first word. But if I write a sentence, I must use gets to accept the whole sentence. Okay, it will accept the sentence which has spaces as well. So this you have understood why we use gets. Similarly, with printf, you are able to display the whole string, right? Let us test it once more. I have entered a string. And with printf, you are able to display the whole string. But there is another alternative of using puts function. Okay, instead of this printf, you can give the message you entered. Okay, just give the message In puts, what happens? You cannot display something along with a variable. Like how in printf you write you entered variable name. But in puts, only the variable name you can write within brackets. You cannot write you entered variable name. You have to write only puts s. Okay, this will print the string. So either you use printf or puts, no problem. But gets is compulsory for multi-word strings. Have you understood this much till now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Now we have seen gets puts.
Can you run the output of puts in that?
Okay. Yes, yes, I'll show you. So we have used gets and we have used puts. Let me give the output. Enter the string. So as you can see, it is giving same output as printf. Lecture is good, means complete sentence is being displayed. Now next inbuilt function is to perform certain operation. This operation was what? Accepting input, displaying output. Now another operation can be you want to find the length of your string. So we have already seen how we can find the length of a string and what is the difference between size and length. So how we can find the length of the string? What is the predefined function? Which function we use for length of string? Anyone? We use the function strlen. This is used to accept the or display the length of the string, to find the length of the string. So we have the same string, we are using gets, and then I'm performing the operation of finding the length of the string. So this is what length of a string is, an integer. So either use a variable length and assign it the value returned by the built-in function strlen. I repeat, this is a function call strlen. So it will return the length of your function. Whatever it returns is the length of the string, and that length you're storing in a variable length. This variable name can be anything. You can call it as number of characters. Okay, length is nothing but number of characters. Okay, you can call it length also. Length is more understandable. Okay, this is no problem. LEN this can be any name, but this function should not change. strlen. And what you have to pass, how you'll know which string of length you have to compute? You have to compute the length of the string whose name is s. Okay, you can name it str also, whatever. So this s will be passed to strlen. This function will do on its own. It will find the length of the string. Okay, and then it will be assigned to length variable. So now length of my string maximum is 30. Okay, means one of the characters for null character. So complete string has 29 characters plus one for null character. Okay, so now let us see what happens. I need to also display this length, right? So instead of displaying the string, okay, you have seen how it happens. So let me use this to write the length is %i or %d, since it is integer, and then you can print the value of length variable. And one more thing, why I'm getting this error, can you just a minute? Okay, so since I'm using strlen, I need to include one header file, that is #include st string.h. Okay, this header file string.h for all the built-in functions other than gets and puts. You have to use for strlen, you must use string.h. So I enter the string. So its length is 19. The length is 19. Means what we can understand that though the maximum size that you specified is 30, you can enter a string whose length is lesser. Okay, you can enter a string whose length is lesser than 30, like this one, whose length was 19. Like this one whose length was 19. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So the length of your string is 19 plus 1 for null character. But as I said, whatever you display is only your string. Other than the null character, everything will get displayed. So length is 19, but size will be 20. Okay, size includes the null character. Okay, size will be 20, but length is 19. So length is 19. So if I enter a string of greater length or lesser length, suppose I enter a string of 3 characters. So enter the string, this one. So length is 3. Okay, so it doesn't depend on your declaration size. Declaration size is for what? It indicates the maximum length of your string. You can enter a string which is lesser length string or which is lesser length string. If I enter a string which is of greater length, let's see what happens. So for our ease, let me make it a string of 5 characters. Means 4 for your characters and 1 for null character. Suppose I enter a longer string. What is happening? Though your string size is 5, you're getting the length as 19. Means the length of your string which you have entered by the user, that is of greater length, but still it is getting stored in memory and its length is 19, which is correct. So this is a dangerous operation, right? Because your string is of lesser length, but it is being allocated more memory, right? Your string can be allocated only 5 bytes, but it is getting allocated more memory because of the change in the user input at the runtime. At the runtime, it may be a lesser length string or a greater length string. So in order to, means this is not desired, right? How much ever is the maximum length, only that much should be the required input. So to handle this, another function is a modification of the gets function, which is below. I mentioned it. Just a minute. Okay, I'm not finding it in the theory part. Okay, that function is fgets. Okay, that function is fgets. It will accept a string only of the required size, which is, suppose maximum size is 30, then it can accept the strings of length what? 15, 29, 28, 2, but not 35, 40, 41. Okay, this is the security provision. Fgets you have to use. Okay, it is only provided for gets function. Nothing is there for puts. So this is how we can find the length of the string. Have you understood strlen built-in function? Have you understood?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we also define length of integer?
Length of integer is not possible because integer occupies 4 bytes. And whatever you write, suppose the length of your integer or the number of digits in your integer. Suppose I write int a equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is a big number. So to store the big numbers, what we have long int. Okay. The length of integer you cannot find using strlen. Only for string you can find its length. If you want to find the length of an integer, that is length of the number of digits, what you'll have to do, you'll have to count each time. Means what? How in Armstrong number we extract the last digit. Okay, means we are extracting a single digit. Once you extract one digit, you have to increase your counter. Then you can extract the next digit, second last digit. Okay, we have seen Armstrong program how we can access each digit one by one. So in this way, as soon as you accept each digit, you have to increase your counter. This way you can count the number of digits, that is length of your integer. But direct function, as per my knowledge, is not there for calculating the length of integers. It is there for strings. Okay. Now another function for your built-in types is strcpy. So cpy means here copy. Len means length, cpy means copy. So what you can do by this function, you can copy the strings. Now you can define your own function also for copying. Means what? You'll write one string and that same string you want to initialize it for some other variable string also. Means what I mean to say, I'll just show you here. Let me open a new file. I'll explain. So here if you have a string str, okay, and your, say here I'll initialize it directly for ease. you can initialize it as a sentence. And since you're initializing the size, it is okay even if you don't specify. Okay, that is why the facility is provided, because we may store multiple words, right? The lecture is good, comma, we are learning C programming, comma, the time is 6:30. Okay, this can be a very big string. So how the programmer will sit counting what is the length and then write here. Okay, you can do it using strlen function. Okay, and assign the sizes +1. But why to do it, right? When you have the facility of not specifying the size here, it is okay. So it's better, right? It is a feature, a facility. Now, to copy this whole string, what is my string? The lecture is good. I want to copy this string. Suppose I call this str1. I want to copy it to str2. So I will declare str2, okay, and I'll specify some maximum size. Suppose I specify 30. Here I'm declaring it, so I have to specify the size. Now I will write the function strcpy destination comma source. This is the syntax, destination comma source, or you can call it as strcpy target, that means destination comma source. Means what? I'll tell you. Whatever is here, there are two parameters that you have to pass to this function. First is destination, next parameter is source. So destination is the string to which you want to copy. So string2 is the string to which you want to copy, right? And what is your source from where you want to copy? You want to copy from string1. So this is target is str2, source is str1. So this is the way you have to pass the parameters. If you write str1 first and then str2, it will understand that you want to copy it to str1, which is wrong in this case. Okay, so this line I will write here, strcpy str2 comma str1. And then what you can do is you can display your string2 using printf, suppose. And your string1 will not change, okay, it will remain the same. You are just copying its value to string2. So let us print both of the strings using printf str1 and str2. I'm printing both my strings. Let me also give \n and let me write string1 is string2 is. So now let us execute. I have saved this program as a C file. So as you can see, string1 we had initialized and it is getting displayed, and string2 has got the value of string1. String1 value has been copied to string2, the whole thing, using strcpy. That means you don't have any restriction on single word or multiple words. You can have a sentence which can be copied to your destination string. Have you understood strcpy function?
Yes.
Yes. Now next function is
Will it be okay if we don't specify the string to size?
string2 size. You will have to specify because you are declaring it, right? Because if you don't specify here, it may give you an error. See, you're getting an error. So size is compulsory. You must give some maximum size. Or
So
an alternative, yeah, just a minute. An alternative is you first compute the size of string1, and whatever is the size of string1, that should be your means length that you can initialize here. Means string1 ka length is suppose 19. The size is 1 greater. So here what you'll write, you can write here in the size strlen of string1 plus 1. This is your size. Okay, in case of copying time, means string length 1 plus 1, means this is 19. The size of string 1 is 19 plus 1 is your size of, means it is the size of string 1 also. Length is how many characters? 19 plus 1 for null character. So size is 20, and that same thing you'll get by this, right? So string2 ka function ka size is also 20. Or if you don't want to do this way, you can remove this from here. You can use one variable a, suppose, initialize it to string length plus 1 and then write the size as a. Or best way, specify some maximum size if you know what is the size. You can even specify, uh, suppose you know that all your strings in your program are maximum 30, then you can specify suppose 32 as your size. So these are the only alternatives here. There is another function in which we can,
So can we declare an empty string like
let us
which does
try.
not have any value?
But for that also, okay, let me try it. Here you have an empty string. Okay, it should work as per my understanding. Empty string. Okay, and you're copying string 1 to string 2. But here I'm seeing something weird. Let's see why. String 1 is initialized properly and I'm printing it. Okay, suppose I remove this empty string. Let's see whether error is going or no. Okay, so as you said, empty string, it should work, but currently it's not working on my system. You can try it out on your mobile or system also, okay? Because
Okay.
string 1 is not getting stored properly because of that. So you try it, even you try that strlen plus 1, okay, and let me know which is working, which is not working. Okay, you can take it as a homework.
Okay.
Because even if you experiment some things, it will be stored in your memory for a longer time, right? You will remember whatever you have practiced. Now, next thing is concatenation. In my first lecture, when I had taken the quiz for the introductory session, I had told you what is the meaning of concatenation. Do you remember what is concatenation?
Addition.
Addition of two things.
Yeah. So you can say addition for of strings, or you can say combining two strings, or you can say joining two strings. So the syntax for this is first string comma second string, or here also you can say source and destination. So the syntax, I will open a new file. So here I have my string 1. Let me initialize it. And I have my string 2. Now either string 2 can be empty string, or you can initialize this also. First, let us see if we initialize it, what happens. So this string is, okay, the lecture is good, full stop. Let me give a space and let me write we are studying. So these are your two strings. Now you want to join them. So the function is, or the syntax is strcat, cat for concatenation. Syntax is again destination. Okay, always destination comes first, and the source is the second parameter. So how it will happen? Your string 1, suppose, is your destination. Okay, let me write it. strcat. Here I write str1, comma str2. So string 1 is my destination. So to your string 1, string 2 gets attached. I repeat, to your destination, the source will get attached. Or if you are getting confused for destination string, you can say first string, second string also. First and second. So your first string will get extended. First is equal to first plus second. It is like that. Okay, first plus equal to second, or first is equal to first plus second. Here plus indicates combination. So first will become what? Your string 1 will become the lecture is good, we are studying. This will be a string 1. So if I print my concatenated string, whatever you have concatenated, that will be stored in your string 1. Means you have updated your string 1. That means string 1 should be your concatenated string. There is another alternative which I'll show just after 2 minutes. I'm printing using %s. I'm printing what? str1. And I can give a message like concatenated string is str1. And I can include my Okay, if you're using an IDE, that is integrated development environment, sometimes if you don't include your some header files, okay, not all, but like stdio.h is compulsory, but sometimes even if you don't include string.h, it may run, but sometimes it may not run as well. So it is a better practice that for your program to run on all platforms, either online compiler or through your command line or through your IDE, it is better to include all the necessary header files. So let us run this after saving. I'm getting, okay, I need a semicolon here. Okay, so if you're getting an error over here, this line, then maybe previous line semicolon is missing. Okay, that is one possibility. So concatenated string is string 1 and string 2 together. And the space here is which I had included in string 1, right? After this good full stop space, that space is that one. If you don't give space here, then you won't be able to differentiate, or you won't get the space between the two sentences. Okay, you're getting the combination here. So this way. Now one more thing, if you want to store your concatenated string in another string, then let us try. Here I write one more string, str3, and I'm declaring it so some size, suppose 100. Now I'm assigning str3 the value of the concatenation. So whatever is concatenated, that I'm assigning it to str3, and I'm displaying str3. Let us see. Invalid initializer. Okay, so this particular thing is not working. You can try it out on your own system also. Actually, I have executed this before. It should work. Or let's say if it doesn't work, you can try it. But concatenation means what? Your first string or your first parameter will store the concatenated string. Have you understood this much?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this was concatenation. Now, another 4 are remaining. Last 2 are very simple. String comparison. Now, string comparison means here, okay, in this program only I'll make the changes. str,
Sorry to disturb, but
yeah,
that previous where we were storing the third string, the value of str1 in the third string. So if we write the same code and just the next code, we write destination str3 and comma str1
sorry, I didn't get you. We write str3 comma str1 means
in
how
the
will that
next line.
help? See, yeah, tell me.
Str then cat
Okay,
uh, str3
yes,
comma str1 where we
str1.
concatenate in the previous line.
Okay, so for this, my str3 should be empty. Let's try it. And we are we'll have to first concatenate 1 and 2, and then we can concatenate 3 and 1. So 1 will store the concatenated string, and we are adding it to empty string 3. Let us see if it works.
Yes.
Yeah. So it is working. Yes. Okay, it is working. So using empty string, you can do the concatenation, or using the string copy, that is strcpy. What you could have done, instead of concatenating to an empty string, you can simply copy it to the empty string if it works. Okay, here empty string was not working actually, but let us run it once more. See, now it is working. That time it was not working. So maybe some memory problem was there. So now it is working. What you have done, you have concatenated them, and whatever is concatenated is stored in string 1 that you have copied to string 3. Or you can uh, concatenated to an empty string. Okay, so these are some ways which you can, means empty string is a benefit for us because it does not have anything you can copy or compare to it. Now,
Earlier, actually, there was a space in between inverted commas in empty string. That is why I thought, I think it showed E, but now there is no
okay,
space. So,
okay, let me check. And I had cat over here, but it's working now even if space was there. So
okay,
maybe
okay.
some system problem was there, or maybe since I'm using Google Meet, I'm sharing my screen, so it's running slowly or something like that. Anyways, now we can compare two strings using CMP. So what happens in comparison? String 1 and string 2 is there. So your syntax is strcmp. You can say first, comma, second. This is your syntax. You have to always compare with respect to first. Means what? How the internal comparing will happen? It will check first greater than second. It can also check first less than second, or it can happen that first is equal to second, means both the strings are same, means the characters in the string are same. Now greater and less than means what? If the characters in your string have greater ASCII values, then it is greater than your string which has characters having lower ASCII values. Okay, based on ASCII values only you have to compare, because that is the only way. Okay, using string compare function. Or you can compare on basis of the number of characters also. Sometimes even if ASCII values of the characters are same, if you have more number of characters, means your string is having greater, or it is greater than the second string. So let us test what happens. You are comparing two strings, string 1 and 2. And if first is greater than second, then the value returned by this function is 1. Okay, 1 is greater than 2, means first is greater than second, so it returns 1. Then first is less than second, so it will return -1. And first is equal to second, it returns the value 0. And based on this, we can say that whether the strings are equal, greater, or less than compared to each other. So I'll show you how these values help us. And one more thing that we can understand is first greater than second. So even in your assembly language programs that you use to program the microprocessor, what happens, how they compare is they do first minus second. Now, if we have two values, suppose we have 5 and we are doing -3. Since 5 is greater than 3, 5 minus 3 is, it will be a positive value. Positive value is indicated by 1 over here. Means if first string, what they do, first minus second they do. First string minus second string. Internally it happens. If first string is greater than the second string, then we can say that the answer returned by the function is 1. But if first is less than second, that means I'm doing 3 minus 5, then it returns -1. That means first string is smaller than the second. But if I'm doing 3 minus 3, then its value is 0. Okay, so greater means 1. If first string is lesser, it is -1. If both the strings are equal, that means first string is equal to second, subtraction answer is 0. Based on ASCII values, the subtraction is being carried out. Okay, for each character. Character wise, they'll compare. So what we can do, we will compare 1 with 2 and then use one if condition. If the value returned by strcmp, what is the value returned? It is an integer value. So I can write int um, cmp is equal to this one. So if cmp is equal to 1, I can say that string 1 greater than string 2. Else if cmp equal to -1, I can say that string 1 less than string 2. Now, which condition is remaining? If both are equal. So that will come in else part. I can say that S1 or string 1 is equal to string 2. So based on whatever is returned, we can say that which string is greater than the other or which is lesser than the other. Always it is with respect to the first string or first parameter. If first is greater than second, then 1. If first is lesser than second, then -1. If both first is equal to second, then 0. Okay, by subtraction. So these two strings are there and we are comparing. I need to remove some statements here. This one. Yeah, I've commented the unnecessary part. So I'm getting that string 1 is lesser than string 2. Now, string 1 is lesser. Okay, though the length you can see is greater, it is based on ASCII values. Now, how we can say that? Because see, W character has greater ASCII value, okay? And there is no such character like Z or W or X in string 1. So it totally depends on the compiler comparison, okay? We cannot actually predict it. Now, if I write a small string over here, and here I write a larger string, okay, a large string. Let us see what happens. So I'm getting here string 2, that is my largest string, is greater than string 1, or string 1 is lesser. Okay, so based on length and based on the type of character ASCII value, you can compare the strings. Okay, this is usually used wherein in your file handling, okay, means in files there may be large content or there may be lesser content. So to compare the amount of content in a file, you can use the comparison, because whatever content you store in file, it may be in a string format, so you can compare in such cases. Okay, that is the need of such compare function. I hope you understood. Have you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So now just a few are remaining, that is string reversing. So I'll just finish it off. Simply we'll have to carry forward this otherwise. So string reversing, you might have understood what is the function of this. You want to reverse the string. Okay, we have seen our program in our arrays, how we reverse the string, how we compared it, how we found if it is palindrome or not. So here you can do the same thing, but using built-in function. So you let me change it. So I have my string 1 and string 2. Now reversing can be done for a single string. Here you have to not have two strings and compare or anything. You have to simply reverse string 1. So the function is, you can directly print something. What you will print? The reverse string. So you will write here, reversed string is %s, and here you can print strrev. Okay, this is the function, and pass the parameter str1. So str1 will get reversed and it will get printed here. Okay, you can store this reverse string in another string and print that other string, or directly to save time, use this function call in your printf itself. So let me remove this part. I've commented it, so we have only the required. So as you can see, the lecture is good. If you read it from right to left, you'll understand that it has been reversed. So it was the lecture is good. You had the full stop at the end, then full stop, then DOOG. It has been reversed, as you can see. Okay. So if I have a palindrome string over here, if I write it as this one, now when I reverse it, let's see. So here what has happened? Nitin and Nitin, same. Now how you'll check if it is palindrome? You have reversed the string. Okay. Let me copy the reverse string to another string. Let me copy the reverse string to another string. Means what I'm saying? I'm saying, okay, you have an empty string over here, str3, and then I'm saying strcpy, and I want to copy to str3. So str3 is my destination. I'll write it as the first parameter. Second parameter will be strrev of str1. So what happens internally? strrev, that will be applied first, okay, because parenthesis is what? Highest precedence. So whatever is inside parenthesis will be executed. String 1 will get reversed, and I've copied the reverse string to string 3. Okay, I've copied the reverse string to string 3. Now what I can do to check palindrome, I will compare. What I will compare? I will compare my original string 1 and I will compare str3. So what happens? First I have reversed the string and I have compared it to, I have copied it to string 3. So now string 3 is equal to reverse of string 1. String 3 stores the reverse of the string 1. So I can compare the string 1 and string 3 because string 1 is original, string 3 is the reverse of string 1. So I'm comparing them. And based on my if that I had written over here, if this one is greater than that one, that I'll use here. So let me just make the changes here. I've compared string 1 and string 2. I will store it in my CMP variable, whatever is returned by the comparison, either 1, -1 or 0. And here let me uncomment it. Okay, so here, based on this, I should get S1 equal to S2 over here. Okay, do you agree with me? Should I get S1 equal to S2? Because it is,
Yes.
yeah. So let me execute. So see here, you're getting S1 equal to S2. So you can use a combination of string functions, inbuilt string functions, to get the required output. So I hope you've understood how we can use these string functions. Now, last two string functions remaining, which are very simple. strlwr means string lower. LWR means lower, LOWER. What I have done, how the function is named, I'll show you. LOWER. How the function is named, they have taken L from here, they have taken W from here, and they have taken R over here. So what they've done, they've taken first, third, and fifth position letters. Okay, they've taken the alternate characters and named the function as LWR stands for lower. So this is how you can remember what is the name of the function. Because you may think it is LOW, it is LER, it is LWER. What is the name? So they have taken the alternate characters. This is how you can remember what is the name of the function. The name of the function is str alternate LWR. str LWR stands for string lower. This converts the characters of the string to lowercase. Lowercase means small characters. That is small ABCD up to Z. Uppercase means what? Capital ABCD up to Z. So my string 1, suppose it has uppercase letters. Okay. And let me comment this. And I'm writing, I want to print the lower case of the string 1. So I'll write here lowercase is %s, and here strlwr of which one? str1. Okay, so small n, small t, small I, small t, small n should be displayed. Let us check. So as you can see, lowercase of the original string has been formed. Now similarly, if I have a combination here, like I have a sentence, the is capital, then lecture is small, and then I have capital I, small s, I have capital G, small o, capital O, small d. So I have a combination of uppercase and lowercase. Now what should happen? The lowercase will remain lowercase, and if any uppercase is there, it will be converted to lowercase. I repeat, whatever is lowercase, that will remain as it is. But if there is any uppercase, it will be converted to lowercase. Let us execute. See, you're getting everything in lowercase. Now, what is the other thing that we can do? We can convert all the lowercase thing to uppercase. That is your next function. That is strupr, string upper. So here, instead of lower, if I write upper, how you'll remember what is the name of the function? You'll extract the alternate letters. Q from here, then this P and this R. So strupr, this is the name of your function. So I'll apply it here only. What I'll do now, can you tell me what will be the output? What will get converted? See, there is uppercase here.
All will be
Yes,
capital.
tell me. I couldn't hear you.
All the alphabets would be capital, right?
Yes. So if there is any lowercase, it will become capital, and uppercase will remain uppercase. So let me execute. See, you're getting capital. The lecture is good. Now suppose everything is uppercase. For example, GOOD. Then it will remain as it is, right? So it is remaining as it is. So I hope you understood all these string functions. So for now, the basics of strings are complete. Arrays is complete, strings is complete. You can go through all the videos, and possibly from the next lecture, we'll start with structure union enumeration, which is the user defined data type. So now quickly put your attendance in the chat box and ask me your doubts if any.
We were studying this upper and lower case for the
Yes,
string. So if what like in string we can write anything, right? So if I write a number like 2 or 5, anything.
yes.
So what how will it work in upper and lower? Will
So
it show
here,
error?
let's check if you have upper and lower for numeric strings. You can call them numeric strings. So on UPR, you're getting it as it was. And for LWR, let us check. Okay, this is a good question that you have asked. So no changes there. So it only works on characters, you can say, means which are actual characters like A, B, C, D, and all. Now suppose instead of integers, I had some special characters like dollar, percentage, asterisk, opening bracket. So let me test for this also. Here also no effect. What is as it will get displayed. So is your doubt clear?
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome. Any other doubts or any feedback or anything you want to tell me? Or any suggestion or whether I'm going fast or slow or any change in timing or anything. You can tell me anything. Or if currently you don't want to say, in the feedback form which I have provided, you can enter your feedback there also.
There is
So if
one
you have,
question.
yes,
Uh, can we convert long int into string?
converting from one data type to another data type is possible using
Typecasting.
some other functions also, which we'll see in future. Yes, it is possible.
Okay.
Yeah. So if everyone has put the attendance, you can leave this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I have to ask about project. That
Yes.
uh, I have sent you that programming.
Yes.
But when I run the program, only uh, first part of program is displayed. Next part is not appearing.
Uh, okay, so I'll check it. Maybe there is some commented line or something like that. I'll let you know. You have sent it where? To me on WhatsApp or in the email? Where you have sent?
Yes, WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.